This 1941 Jefferson nickel might look like just another old coin, but behind its worn surface lies a powerful story of wartime America, hidden mint errors, rare metallic secrets, and collector mysteries that have stunned numismatists for decades. What makes this coin from the early 40s so valuable, so unique, and so historically important is not just its age, but the hidden details that can turn a 5-cent piece into a fortune. And today, we are going deep into every aspect of the 1941 Jefferson nickel, from its silent wartime background to every mint-mark rarity, every metal composition twist, every high-grade auction shocker, and every secret that only the most serious collectors know. So if you think you know the Jefferson nickel, think again, because the 1941 edition is a hidden treasure waiting to be revealed. In the heart of American numismatic history, the 1941 Jefferson nickel stands tall as a symbol of a time when the United States was on the brink of war, yet still rooted in the foundations of peace and production. This 5-cent coin, minted during the early days of the 1940s, carries a rich and compelling narrative that bridges artistry, economy, and the emergence of global conflict. It is more than a coin. It is a preserved chapter of American heritage. We begin by examining the origins of the Jefferson nickel itself, first introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel. This new design was born out of a public competition. The winning entry, by artist Felix Schlag, was chosen for its clean, detailed depiction of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his home Monticello on the reverse, a decision that ushered in a new era of coinage design and national symbolism. The 1941 Jefferson nickel was minted at 3 major facilities: the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint, each producing millions of coins, but with their own unique characteristics. Starting with the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 203 million coins, these coins bear no mint mark and are considered the most common of the 3. However, not all Philadelphia nickels are equal. The quality of strike and the preservation of the Monticello steps on the reverse side, known as full steps, is a key factor in determining rarity and value. The Denver Mint contributed approximately 53 million coins, and these carry the D mint mark located on the reverse to the right of Monticello. Although the mintage is lower than Philadelphia, the Denver nickels are often plagued by weak strikes, which makes finding a high-grade full steps 1941 D nickel a challenging and rewarding pursuit for collectors. The San Francisco Mint produced nearly 43 million coins, marked with an S again on the reverse side. These coins often have a softer strike, and many examples show signs of die fatigue or overuse of dies, which can create minor doubling or other anomalies. Again, full steps varieties are particularly rare for the 1941 S issue and can command high premiums, especially in uncirculated condition. Collectors and historians alike value the 1941 Jefferson nickel not just for its artistic representation or its mint origins, but for the context in which it was struck. America was inching closer to entering World War II. Tensions were rising, and in just a year, the nation would find itself deeply embroiled in the global conflict. The nickel became a daily piece of wartime life, a tool for trade and survival, and eventually a reflection of the national shift in metal usage, as nickel was redirected for military purposes just a year later in 1942. The composition of the 1941 nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel, a standard mix for the series. But the coming years would see drastic changes in this formula due to the war effort. So in many ways, the 1941 coin marks the end of the pre-war standard era for Jefferson nickels. It is the final issue before wartime composition adjustments began, and that makes it historically significant. Errors and varieties add further intrigue to the 1941 Jefferson nickel series. One of the most sought after is the double die reverse variety. Though rare, it can be identified by doubling on the lettering around Monticello and the words 5 cents. Such coins are extremely valuable, especially in mint state condition. With full steps, another variety to look out for is the repunched mint mark, where the D or S has been stamped more than once, often at a slight angle, creating a shadow. Effect: this occurs when the mint mark punch was misaligned or reapplied manually. Die cracks, cuds, lamination errors, and off-center strikes also exist for this year. And these errors can range from minor curiosities to highly desirable pieces, depending on their visibility and impact on the design. Collectors must be diligent in inspecting both sides of the coin under magnification to catch these subtle but important differences. Grading is a crucial aspect of the Jefferson nickel market, and for the 1941 issue, the condition of the coin heavily influences its value. Coins are graded from poor to mint state 70, but in reality, most circulated 1941 nickels fall between very fine and extremely fine. However, uncirculated coins, especially those with strong luster, no contact marks and full steps, are rare and prized. The full steps designation means the steps leading up to Monticello are completely struck and show no breaks or merges. This detail is difficult to achieve due to the depth and fine lines of the original die design. Auction records show how valuable a 1941 Jefferson nickel can be when in pristine condition. For instance, a 1941 D nickel graded MS67 with full steps can sell for several $1,000s, while a similar 1941 S coin with full steps in MS66 can also fetch impressive prices. The scarcity of high-quality coins from this year, particularly from the branch mints, adds to their desirability. In addition to individual coin grading sets of Jefferson nickels from the early years, including 1941, are often collected together by date and mint mark. These sets allow collectors to observe the subtle differences in strike die wear and design evolution over time. Some enthusiasts even attempt to assemble full steps, sets a difficult but rewarding challenge. Authentication is critical, especially when dealing with high-value specimens, as counterfeiters have been known to alter nickels by adding mint marks or polishing steps to simulate the full steps designation. Professional third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC offer reliable authentication and encapsulation services that preserve and verify the value of each coin. The legacy of the 1941 Jefferson nickel is deeply connected to American identity, with Thomas Jefferson a founding father, and the author of the Declaration of Independence on the obverse, and Monticello his iconic Virginia home on the reverse. The coin reminds us of the intellectual and architectural contributions of Jefferson to the fabric of the nation. The design has remained largely unchanged since its inception, a testament to its timeless appeal. In modern times, the Jefferson nickel series has evolved, but the early coins, including the 1941 issue, remain foundational to understanding the development of American coinage. They offer insights into mid-century minting techniques, economic conditions, and cultural values. From their massive circulation to their place in wartime pocketbooks, the 1941 nickels have touched millions of lives and continue to do so through collecting and education. Investors also find interest in the 1941 Jefferson nickel, particularly high-grade examples which have shown consistent appreciation over time, while not as flashy as gold or silver coins. Rare nickels offer stability and historical interest that appeals to a wide range of buyers. Assembling a collection of early Jefferson nickels in full steps condition is a long-term investment that preserves wealth while connecting to American heritage. Public interest in coins like the 1941 nickel is also fueled by online communities. Coin shows, numismatic publications, and social media groups where collectors share discoveries, trade insights, and celebrate finds. The accessibility of information today allows new collectors to enter the hobby with confidence and knowledge, deepening the appreciation for coins that were once just spare change in the American pocket. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist, a new collector, or simply curious about American history, the 1941 Jefferson nickel offers a compelling journey through design, minting errors, economics, and patriotism. It is a small metal disc with a story that spans centuries, shaped by the hands of artists, struck by machines of war-era mints, and passed from generation to generation as a quiet but enduring symbol of the United States. In conclusion, the 1941 Jefferson Nickel is more than a coin. It is a legacy piece, a link to a time before the storm of global conflict, a testament to American creativity and precision, and a challenge for collectors who seek perfection within the smallest details, from Philadelphia to Denver to San Francisco. This humble nickel stands the test of time and will continue to fascinate, inspire, and educate as long as collectors care to look beyond the surface and into the heart of American coinage. This 1950 half-dollar might look like just another old coin, but what if I told you it holds a story of war, recovery, silver, scarcity, mint secrets, and hidden value that could make collectors chase it like treasure in plain sight? Stay with me as we unravel every detail of this legendary American coin. In the year 1950, the world had just begun to recover from the long, devastating shadows of World War II, and the United States was experiencing an era of economic change, technological progress, and cultural transformation. Among all these shifts, the U.S. Mint quietly struck a coin that would later become a gem for collectors and a symbol of post-war coinage, the 1950 Franklin half-dollar. This piece of metal may seem ordinary at first glance, but its journey from the coining presses of Philadelphia and Denver to the collections of numismatists tells a story rich with economic challenges, political influence, design controversy, and unexpected rarity. The Franklin half-dollar was originally introduced in 1948, replacing the Walking Liberty half-dollar, a design cherished by many, but replaced to honor one of America's most respected founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, whose image had never before been featured on a circulating U.S. coin. His face and legacy were chosen by then Mint director Nellie Taylor Ross, who admired his contribution to American history, and insisted on honoring him with a coin the designer John R. Sinek, chief engraver of the United States Mint, sculpted the image of Franklin from a bust he had created earlier based on a model by Jean-Antoine Houdon. On the obverse of the coin, Franklin appears with a serious expression, his long hair flowing behind his shoulder, and the inscription Liberty above his head, and In God We Trust, placed beneath his neckline. The reverse of the coin is equally symbolic, displaying the Liberty Bell with its iconic crack. A symbol of freedom and American independence. Next to it rests a small eagle to meet the legal requirement that all U.S. half-dollars include an eagle on the reverse, despite public debate over the prominence of the bell versus the eagle. The mint stood by its artistic choice, and this dual imagery became a hallmark of the coin. In the year 1950, the Franklin half-dollar was minted in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint produced 9,976,500 pieces, while the Denver Mint struck only 2,616,000 pieces, making the Denver issue significantly rarer and more desirable to collectors. The reason behind the lower mintage was due to decreased demand for coinage during this period as economic factors shifted and coin circulation patterns changed. Although this coin was minted primarily for commerce, it quickly gained traction among collectors for several reasons. Firstly, the 1950 Franklin half-dollar was one of the earliest coins to be issued during the relatively short span of the Franklin series, which only ran from 1948 to 1963. Its brief duration combined with unique historical context adds to the collectability, but rarity alone does not make a coin. Valuable condition is paramount in the world of numismatics, and the 1950 Franklin half-dollar is no exception. Collectors look for coins with full bell lines, sharp edges, and no wear on high points. The term full bell lines refers to the horizontal lines at the bottom of the Liberty Bell design. If these lines are visible without wear, it indicates that the coin was well struck and has not seen much circulation. Such specimens command premium prices, especially those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC coins in MS-65 or higher with full bell lines from the Denver Mint have been known to fetch hundreds and even thousands of dollars depending on market conditions, auction demand and buyer interest beyond monetary value. The coin captures the essence of an era. It reflects a time when the United States was moving into a new phase of its history, when American values, innovation, and democracy were being redefined in a post-war society. Franklin himself was a man of many talents, a polymath who influenced science, politics, and philosophy. His inclusion on the coin symbolizes a tribute to intellectual legacy and patriotic service. In coin design, the choices made reflect more than art. They tell a story of national identity. The inclusion of the cracked Liberty Bell was not without controversy. Some members of the public and Congress objected to highlighting a symbol that seemed broken or damaged. Yet the bell's crack is a powerful image of endurance, freedom, and the struggle to maintain unity under adversity. The Mint defended its decision, and this act of resistance against sanitized imagery gives the coin even greater cultural weight. Collecting the 1950 Franklin half-dollar today requires knowledge, patience, and a bit of luck. Many examples were circulated heavily in the 1950s and 60s, losing detail and value through years of handling. However, those preserved in mint sets or carefully stored in rolls may still retain their original brilliance and strike quality. Some even exhibit natural toning, a rainbow-like discoloration that can increase appeal and worth to certain collectors. Investors also watch coins like the 1950 Franklin half-dollar as tangible assets in a fluctuating economy. Unlike paper money or digital assets, coins carry intrinsic value due to their silver content. The 1950 Franklin half-dollar contains 0.3617 troy ounces of silver, meaning even its melt value fluctuates with silver markets beyond bullion. However, its numismatic value often far exceeds its metal worth, particularly in top condition and low mintage issues. Like the 1950D, the legacy of the Franklin half-dollar came to an end in 1963 following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, which prompted a rapid redesign and issuance of the Kennedy half-dollar in early 1964. This marked the abrupt end of the Franklin series and preserved its place as a finite and historically bounded collection. The short run and rich symbolism make every coin from the series a snapshot of American values and challenges of the mid-20th century for anyone diving into coin collecting. The 1950 half-dollar serves as an ideal case study. It encompasses historical design, political influence, economic cycles, production limitations, and artistic debate. Its market value has fluctuated, but its cultural importance remains steady. Collectors can trace ownership through mint marks, die varieties, and strike characteristics, making each coin a unique artifact of American monetary heritage. Mint marks, die varieties, and strike characteristics making each coin a unique artifact of American monetary heritage. Mint marks are a critical detail in this pursuit. The small d beneath the bell indicates the Denver Mint, while the absence of a mark signifies Philadelphia. This simple letter changes the scarcity and pricing dramatically, making even small varieties within the same year. Crucial to proper evaluation, coin grading adds another layer to the journey, assigning a number. Between 1 and 70 to indicate condition, mint state coins start at 60, and those in 65 and above are typically considered investment quality, especially with full bell lines. The role of professional graders adds consistency and market trust. Encouraging buyers and sellers to transact with confidence over the decades, certain 1950 half-dollars have appeared in major auctions, fetching record prices and drawing attention from collectors worldwide, whether housed in prestigious numismatic collections or passed down through generations. These coins carry stories of families' history and national pride. They have survived the melting pots of the 1980s, the booms and busts of the silver market, and the growing digital shift in financial assets. Holding a 1950 Franklin half-dollar is holding a time capsule of American mid-century life, from post-war optimism to economic transition, from numismatic artistry to patriotic reverence. The story continues to unfold with every collector who studies catalogs, auction records, and certification reports in hopes of finding or understanding one more piece of the puzzle. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a curious beginner, exploring the story behind this coin can deepen your appreciation for the way money reflects more than commerce. It reflects culture choices, identity, and memory. As we wrap this deep dive into the 1950 Franklin half dollar, we realize it is more than silver, more than a denomination, more than a portrait of a founding father. It is a living piece of American legacy, and its value goes far beyond the numbers etched in metal. It is about the people, the hands, the moments that carried it through history from the mint floor to your hand. This half-dollar continues to echo the spirit of a nation and the vision of Benjamin Franklin, a vision rooted in wisdom, science, and the relentless pursuit of freedom.